Hey guys, Monk52 here of course, and today we're discussing the Napoli. Let's dive right in. First module choice, secondary. Battery mod actually makes your secondary 6 kilometers, which means they're somewhat usable. Aiming systems is probably the meta pick though, but I do like having just a bit of secondary range because you never know. For the second module, I would recommend propulsion mod over steering gears because even if you're running agility build, propulsion mod is very valuable. For your third module choice, steering gears is viable, so is concealment. I prefer concealment because you get a sub 9 or sub 10 km concealment, very stealthy. And your final module choice, I would recommend main battery mod over aiming systems, over gunfire control systems because the reload is so high. Commander choice, if you have him, is Soundwave here. Though Membelli is pretty darn good too. He's obviously got his base trait to detect torpedoes. You've got Ingenious, which really helps the guns. You can run Piercer if you just want a bit more pen. The reason we're running Soundwave is because that 10% extra smoke dispersion time. Sponge, Steer Clear, Fully Packed. Membelli for the reload, even though we're not using Membelli. And Makawa. Makawa is very good for this. Again, if you don't run Soundwave, Membelli gets the job done perfectly fine. Basically the same build, except not special skill. And we're running Vodmuller and I would be Delightful. If you don't have Delightful, of course, you run Makawa, because I would probably just put in Makawa. Or if you're feeling like trying to run secondaries one hipper, though I do not recommend it. The secondaries and the current present state they're in, they're pretty bad. They'll get the job done for a little bit, but they're kind of meh. So I definitely recommend Makawa as inspiration, running for a stealth build over maneuverability, but you can go either or. Another good shout out for inspiration is Sansonetti for incoming damage, because the Napoli is a pretty darn good tank if angled properly. Speaking of tank, let's go on to the armour. 25mm nose and stern, but you do have an icebreaker and some butt plating too, as I'm going to call it. 2 protection is only 25, but it does help. It does add on to your armour thickness and does help reduce the penetration of the shells. Superstructure, not too much, but there is enough to be penned and farmed. It says 30mm here, but it's not 30. If you go to the armour thickness on the right hand side, you can look at the armour and it tells you it's above 32. So Yamato actually has to catch you broadside, basically, or catch enough pen to get through you. Obviously, they can pin you through the front, so angle carefully and you can bounce pretty much everything you want to bounce, but you still might take some couple pen damage there and then. Turtleback is present, though it really isn't going to save you against battleships. It probably won't save you against most cruisers of the tier. It might keep you alive a little bit longer, but it's not amazing. Basically, angle correctly and you'll bounce pretty much everything, you'll be fine, but get broadside and you're about to get slapped. Pretty reliably as well. You've got a high health pool, you're pretty quick, and yeah, without much further ado, we get into the battle because I don't want to make this video too long. Now, we're division with Yamato here. This is I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This game was a pretty bad game for winning the game here, but this is probably one of the best ideas of showcasing how well the Napoli can do if you just play attention and just play like a normal cruiser. Napoli isn't the best legendary tier super cruiser, or isn't the best super cruiser period. You know, we've got Siegfried with the 15-inch shells, you know, battleship guns. You've got Azuma with now the buff it had, now it's really strong AP. You've got Alaska with the hyper AP. You've got Stalingrad with the best pen out of all the cruisers, basically. You've got Kronstadt, you've got Carnot, which is kind of meh. And you've got Napoli, which is kind of a middle pack and everything. Decent armour, not the best. Decent AP, not the best. There's only 254s, and they tend to either shatter or overpen. They're kind of meh. Their terms of accuracy is pretty darn good, and again, Italian shells are quite quick too. The HE is pretty darn bad. You've got SAP secondaries, which on PC are the gimmick of this whole thing. The gimmick of this thing is having amazing secondaries. On Legends though, the best you can get is about like 7.9, barely 8 kilometer secondaries. It's pretty bad. Plus, you know, running a secondary build commander kind of ruins the boat because it really is a cruiser at the end of the day, so it's very rough to say the least. It's not ideal, so you really want to play this like a cruiser and just, you know, really not too worry about its gimmicks, not play into it. Just play it like an ambush cruiser, because that's really what it is. You gotta go back to your roots, back to your deep Italian roots here, and really, I'd be comfortable taking a shot at broadside Yamato with AP. Whenever I can use AP in this boat, I want to use it because the HE is just so underwhelming. I mean, yeah, it probably is a good idea to fire HE on angled BBs, 100%, and angled cruisers as well, but you really want to get that. Hold your shot and wait for that opportune moment to get those ambush shots. You know, we have our smoke screens, we have plenty of tools at our disposal. We're going to pop our smoke screen right now, take this shot at the Mino from complete secrecy, shall I say. Mino's there, it could look like the other Mino smoke screen. Take a shot, and again, we get rewarded with a Citadel and 3 pens and 2 overpens, so 5 shells, not bad again. Des Moines here, a little bit of an angle, but we have Italian 254s. This is essentially what is based off the Stalingrad, the first iteration of it. You can see another Citadel on the Des Moines. We're getting some really valuable shots here. Again, ambush sort of style here. He's giving a bit more broadside here. Honestly, our team should be able to clap him, but I don't think they do. I think it's have to, you know, you want it done right, you do it yourself here. Ooh, shots went really high there. I think we missed that shot a little bit. But fortunately, he's still giving broadside, which is all the better for us, so we can fire another cheeky wee shot and maybe get something nice on him here. But our smoke doesn't last forever. We know this, he might know this, so we're going to disengage. But we get an absolute monster shot on him. And at this point, he's such low health, making sure that he's dead and off the board is worth taking a little bit extra damage. So we're going to keep ourselves spotted and run away. Again, we're pretty quick. We can disengage here. Doesn't quite kill him, but I'm pretty sure our team can finish off the rest of it. And just in case, we can fire one more salvo just to make sure that he's 100% dead. He might retreat here. He might just die anyway. Yeah, he dies anyway. But the fact remains that we did the damage there. So that's 25k already with the first like 3 or 4 shots, basically. Not bad. So now we disengage nice and silently, and we haven't really taken no damage in return. We've lost 1 smoke screen, 1 consumable for 55k damage, a Citadel on a Minotaur, and basically killing Des Moines as well. Now, yes, they were giving broadside, and yes, they were basically giving broadside to the majority of our team, but picking the moment when to decide to when to get yourself spotted and when not to get yourself spotted is all about typical back to basic cruiser play. And this is what I recommend here. You just play the thing like a regular cruiser, and you'll be surprised at how effective it is at doing just that. This is just a bog standard heavy cruiser in my opinion, and that's really good because ambush heavy cruisers are pretty good. I think that's a very good wee niche that doesn't really have anything. We don't really have anything like that. Des Moines more just a DPM monster. We've got a Worcester DPM monster. We've got Alaska, who are more like a battleship than a cruiser. Stalingrad different aren't kettlefish either. You don't really play the Alaska or the Stalingrad like cruisers. You know, you just play the Des Moines like a cruiser, and more it's not really about ambush playstyle. You don't really have the stealth, you don't have a disengagement tool, you have radar and you want to fight, you know. Now we don't have a smoke screen here, we're going to get spotted by this Yamato. First mistake of the day, but again, is it though? Because we can actually comfortably angle against Yamato. This could be bad shot here. Okay, we bounced it all. As you can see, we can angle appropriately and bounce most salvos there. We did eat a pen there, but it's not the end of the world. We've got 60k health essentially, and we've got heals as well. And our smoke was just coming off cooldown here. Now, checking your smoke firing penalty, I'd love to shoot him right now, but I can't because if I do, my smoke screen becomes irrelevant due to our smoke firing penalty, which is 7.6 of this particular build. That being said, again, Inspiration Choice Belfast would be pretty darn good. I think a friend of mine does run that. The SAP secondaries are firing. Again, they are kind of useless, unfortunately. You know, what is their main gimmick on PC for this boat is just not the same in Legends. We get 6 km range. Mostly against other destroyers, fighting DDs, that's the reason behind it. We're about to get spotted in anyway, really, so it doesn't really matter, we'll take a pellet shot. Retrospect, I probably should have turned it a little bit more. A little bit of an early taken shot there, and we're going to pay for it a little bit. Yep, that could be much worse. We took an overpen and a pen. Wasn't nice. We're going to try and aim for his guns and just try and break them a little bit, or just do a wee bit module damage to the guns. We didn't do amazing. We didn't really get much done. Really got to watch out for Alaska because he's kind of got our broadside. Yamato, as he demonstrated before, we're quite angled against. I'm not too worried about him. Plus, Napoli's pretty quick too, so we can just get away from that and disengage from that fight. Really, our main concern is Alaska. This is one of the advantages of using Ingenious. We can find out who's targeting us, which means we know if the Alaska is potentially targeting us. And he's not. He's relatively oblivious to what we're doing. He's even shooting someone else. So he's giving flat broadside to Napoli, and these are fast Italian AP, which can do relatively well. Nope. Okay. It was not a bad shot, but yeah. You may have not noticed this, but we were up to 82k. We did land a torpedo on the Napoli. We did land a torpedo on the Yamato, so that was some decent work there, and we'll probably get a chance for another shot at Alaska. I need to back up a little bit, but we don't want to back up into the Yamato, which we ran away from originally. So yeah. Looks like Alaska is going to get rammed by the Conqueror or whatever it is, vice versa. I'm pretty sure it's consensual from the looks of it. But oh no, it looks like it's a drive-by. We really didn't get much done, but Alaska's known for being overpenned, and he's a little bit angled now, which is unfortunate. Yamato is in the capture point. We're going to fire one more salve AP, then probably switch to HE here. But Mino's there, probably keep on the AP for now, just for a little bit longer. Looks like he's also, Alaska's potentially doing another broadside turn. Yamato's decided to engage us here, so we need to start running away. We need to make sure our torps actually do hit. The torpedoes are quite hard to hit. They're usually okay for tier 7. The Amalfi torps are okay. I wouldn't really say they're bad. By more zoning torps with Napoli, I would say they're a little bit worse than Amalfi because they're basically the same, but you're going up 2 tiers difference, so it's quite substantial. We land 3 torps on Yamato, but Yamato is known for having a relatively good torpedo belt. If I remember correctly, the Yamato, actually Napoli torpedoes don't do that much damage, though they are quite hard to hit. And, obviously in point blank range situations it's not the case, but even, actually no, I will say it is even hard to torp things, even at point blank range. Now we want to turn out here. Unfortunately our smoke screen has just came off cooldown, so we can, the moment the Yamato gets spotted by our plane, which he does, so we remember where he fires. Indicator wise, we just saw it briefly, just capture that moment in our heads and fire those torpedoes, and we're going to aim our guns at the Yamato at nearly 3 kilometers. I'm pretty comfortable to say these 254mm guns should be able to citadel the Yamato here. And as we keep a strong angle, we should be relatively okay. I don't know if he'll kill us, there's a good potential for it. He dukes the torps again, because these torpedoes are very, very hard to hit. He's looking for us right now. I want to hold my shot as long as I can, because I want him to basically lose interest in me. Yamato Turturus is really bad. He's fired his guns. I probably should have fired here, but then again, I don't need to. I can hold on for 15 more seconds before I need to take that shot. I want to make sure that our hits are citadels, like they are. I want to make sure that he's dead of that salvo so he doesn't retaliate his shot there. So I think holding back in that situation was the correct play there. Originally though, I'm looking at this, walking by the replay and like, why aren't you firing your guns? You're reloading and everything. But yeah, taking a brief overlook at the actual game, how it's going. We are down a couple ships. They are up by roughly 100 points in caps, and this Alaska decides to full on YOLO send against a Mino and pretty much their whole team, another Alaska, and God knows something else. So not very good. Very unfortunate. Mino though, prime target for Napoli. Napoli still overmatches Minotaur armor, which is really good. So we can get some reliable hits against them, hopefully. Assuming we get a little bit lucky with the RNG, but he's turning away, so we're going to do this. Again, fast shells, difficult to dodge Napoli. Mostly, we'll see, nothing crazy. We did get a bounce off his Citadel, which of course we can't overmatch, but hey, we're doing what we can. I'd love to push this fight with the Mino, but unfortunately I can't because their enemy team, or at least the majority of the remainder of the enemy team, is on the Bravo cap. So push into that, we're going to get ourselves absolutely ruined, and we don't have any more smoke screens to hide behind. We have islands. So in retrospect, again, knowing how this game went, I probably would have pushed forward here onto the B cap here, but I think that would have been a little bit of a risky move, pushing into 3 ships, one of them being Alaska, which has some of the best pen angles in the game, and then you've got 2 battleships, I think one's Republic, and you've got Palmer with the secondaries. So even if his main guns don't hit me, the secondaries will do quite some number, and they don't have 6 kilometers range, they're more like 11 something. Alsace, there we go, Alsace, pretty fast guns. I don't know if it's, I don't know what battleship it is. Palmer, I know there's Palmer here for sure, yeah. Yeah, so Palmer's there. Yeah, we'll find out. So, again, we can angle against everything here, even Yamato. So, provided we keep a strong angle, we should be alright. But the chip damage will be real. Let's see, yeah, it's all sass. Okay, so we got to really try and get these torps to hit, but it's very difficult. These are very slow, and they're not that stealthy either. Only 1.1 detect. They are very slow torps. Barely 60 knots, 56 knots, which at legendary tier are just pretty bad. Our guns are more reliable. We could take that pot shot without getting spotted again. Typical cruiser tactics, if you just fire and the ship's leaving the island, you can get the shot out. We've got torps ready for Alaska, which is nice. Again, you may think they look pretty good because it looks like he's not really interested, but I think he does even dodge them. It's just these torpedoes are not very easy to hit. They're more for zoning, but even then, they're just, I don't think they're equipped for legendary tier, honestly. I think they should really buff these torps a bit, but I don't think they ever will. That's just my view on it there. I don't think the torps are really up to par. At least make them 60 knots. Now the reason we're firing HE and Palmer is because HE, I believe, with a fire chance of setting fire, will just do more damage. Plus, he seems like he's ducking and dodging as well. If he's giving a flat broadside, I will 100% use the AP, but right now I really need to stack some damage over time. Plus, I was hoping, at least hoping, that maybe those torpedoes would start a flood and maybe we can damage control into him getting a permafire. The Alaska does actually eat a torpedo, which does cause a flood, so I could probably use the back gun to maybe get a permanent DCP fire. Looks like he's on perma-flood here. Fired the rear turret, 3 shatters on the gun turret, but I was hoping we might get fire here. Palmer is not as important right now as Alaska. Alaska has become priority 1 because he's pushing our team. Worst case scenario, he can kill one and ram the other, which is not good considering there's only 3 of us left. So, Palmer tries, but we're heavily angled against Palmer, which is good. We take our last cheeky shot of HE and switch back to AP because it looks like, yeah, Alaska, if he's alive, have a chance to get the AP on the Alaska broadside. Palmer comes in, torpedoes the Alaska, but he takes a mammoth amount of damage in return, unfortunately. Both of my battleships are pretty low, so it's really not looking good here. Fired some AP in the Palmer. We're actually up to 180k. We get 3 pens in the Palmer, bring it up to 184, which is kind of surprising for 3 pens, but hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Alsace is coming into the mix as well. Palmer is not interested in us right now, so we can probably afford to be a bit more ballsy and give him a bit more broadside. He does take out our Conqueror, which again limits our chances to getting really much done. Fire HE salvo on him here because he's bow on. Maybe in the hopes we can set a fire in the hopes of these torps getting a hit, though considering we're the last one alive now, they've got 935 points. I need to kill this man as quick as possible, so we're just going to try what we can, and really not much we can do here. We do set another fire. We pick up the high cal of 192, which is quite good. Really trying to get as much as we can done here. Probably trying to turn around for the secondary torps on the other side, but we don't have the time. Simple as that. We can't really do much here. We push this Palmer and the Alsace gets us. This is our angle here. The Alsace is getting us. 3 people aiming at us. It's not looking good. Cure first is probably coming in with AP salvo here. Yep, this could hurt quite a bit. Oh, it's actually HG and does fall short. But that could have been the end of us right there and then. And yeah, I feel we had more to give, but sometimes the teams just don't want it to be the case. Palmer does get a broadside shot on us. Doesn't in fact kill us because again, accuracy Palmer is a little bit sus. But yeah, up to 198k. Probably would have broken 200 and something if we had a bit more time. But they had too many points. They reached 1,000 points, so we did pretty good. Even though Masterclass is about how to play a ship, sometimes you can't win some games. I feel maybe we did what we could there. I'm not sure. Maybe we could have done a couple things better. But I feel this highlighted the ship strengths quite well. Guys, hope you enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye for now.